So OpenAI just dropped something that isn't just a new feature. It feels more like a whole new category of software. It's a web browser. It's called ChatGPT Atlas, and it's built from the ground up to be a real AI partner that works with you right on the web.
But first, let me ask you something. How many times a day do you do that little dance? You know the one. You highlight some text, hit copy, switch over to your ChatGPT tab, and paste it in. It's this clunky routine we've all just kind of accepted. But what if that whole thing just went away?
And this slide, it just lays it all out perfectly. On the left, that's the mess we all live in right now. A jungle of tabs and that constant copy-paste shuffle. But on the right, that's the promise of Atlas. One single unified space that's designed to keep you focused. This is way more than a small design change. It's a total rethink of how we get things done online.
So let's talk about this solution. OpenAI is calling it ChatGPT Atlas. And yeah, it's a browser designed specifically to get rid of all that friction.
Okay, so what is it exactly? Well, OpenAI calls it a browser with ChatGPT built right into its core. But I want you to really focus on that phrase, super assistant. This isn't just another chatbot bolted onto the side of your screen. The whole idea is that the AI is part of the browser's actual DNA. And here's the magic trick that makes it all work. Contextual awareness. Atlas can see the exact web page you're looking at, right now, in real time. That means no more trying to describe what's on your screen, no more feeding it screenshots. The AI is right there with you, literally on the same page.
All right, so we get the big idea, it's aware. But what does that actually mean for your day-to-day workflow? Let's dive into the features. This quote from an early tester, a college student named Yogya, really puts it into perspective. For them, it meant no more flipping back and forth between lecture notes and ChatGPT. The browser just got the context, which made studying way smoother and more natural. But it gets even smarter. Atlas has this feature called Browser Memories, which takes that awareness to the next level. It's an optional feature, and that's important, but it lets the AI remember stuff from sites you visited before. The whole point is to build up an understanding of what you're working on over time so it can give you better, more personalized help.
And this is a fantastic example of how that could play out. Let's say you're job hunting, and you spent a week looking at, a dozen different postings. Instead of trying to hunt down all those bookmarks, you can just ask Atlas to pull them all up, analyze them for trends, and even help you prep for an interview based on those specific postings. It's connecting what you did in the past with what you need to do next. Okay, but just understanding what you're doing is only half the battle. This is where things get really interesting. We're talking about turning the browser into an assistant that can actually do things for you. We're moving from a passive tool to an active helper. They're calling this agent mode. It's still a preview, but this really changes the game. You're basically giving ChatGPT permission to take action on your behalf, not just spit out information. Think about it. It can open tabs, click on links, fill out forms, all to get a task done that you've given it.
Take a look at this grocery shopping example from OpenAI. You can hand Atlas a recipe, and it's not just going to give you a list of ingredients. Nope. It'll go find a grocery store's website, open it up, navigate through the site to add every single ingredient to your cart, and then take you right to the checkout page so you can pay. That's a whole lot of tedious clicking just gone.
And of course, this is about way more than just personal errands. Imagine this at work. You could tell Atlas, hey, go find our team's planning docs from last quarter, then do some research on our top 3 competitors and put it all together in a brief for our Monday meeting. That's potentially hours of work boiled down into a single request.
Okay, I know what you're probably thinking. Handing the keys to your browser over to an AI, that sounds a little scary, right? It raises some big questions about privacy and control. So let's talk about the guardrails OpenAI has put in place.
The number one message here is that you're in the driver's seat. It's your data, your rules. You get the final say on what ChatGPT can see, what it can remember, and what it's allowed to do.
So they give you a bunch of specific controls. Browser memories is opt-in. You have to turn it on, and you can see or delete them whenever you want. You can tell Atlas to ignore a specific website with just one click. Incognito mode works like you'd expect. And this is a big one. By default, what you browse is not used to train their models. You have to explicitly agree to that.
Now, for the super powerful agent mode, they're being pretty upfront about the risks.
They know it could be tricked by a malicious website, for example. So to fight that, they're doing a lot of internal testing. It'll automatically pause on sensitive sites like your bank, and it has some hard limits. For instance, it absolutely cannot download files, run code, or install extensions.
All right, so where do we go from here? What's the rollout plan, and when can you actually get your hands on this?
Well, if you're on a Mac, the good news is it's available today worldwide. For everyone on Windows, iOS, and Android, OpenAI says that's coming soon. And down the road, they're already talking about things like having different profiles for work and your personal life.
You know, when you take a step back, this isn't really just about a new browser. It feels like a pretty big step toward a future where we can hand off all the boring, routine stuff to AI agents. That frees us up to actually focus on the creative, strategic work that really requires a human touch.
Which leaves us with a really interesting question to think about. When your browser stops being just a window and becomes a true partner that can handle all the busy work for you, what are you going to focus on instead?